flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Jeff Reinahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Ann Berger, 3rd Ward.
Michael Safone, 4th Ward.
Stefan Krakauer, 5th Ward.
Ann Trucian, 6th Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
John Bailey, Town Supervisor. And here comes legal.
Making grand entrance. Pardon us.
You're up.
Introduction. Oh, pardon. I'm Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
Megan Clementi, Vandewater and Vanderwater.
Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. On the agenda, we're going to have a committee of the whole presentation by Steve Tinkelman on Built Parcel 559 Springside Avenue. We're going to do a committee of the whole after the regular town board meeting. For the town board meeting, we have Poughkeepsie Day School, which will be tabled. Number 2 is appoint Richard Bellevue as a police officer. Number 3, appoint Shane O'Connell as a police officer. 4, appoint Ryan Bennett as police officer. 5, authorize the town clerk to authorize for bids for Tucker Drive Force Main replacement. 6, adopt the amended non-union salary schedule. 7, authorize the supervisor to sign Hudson 7 amendment to MOU. 8, the notification of liquor license, Regal Cinemas, Village Pancake House, 1126 Dutchess Turnpike. 9, authorize auction of 2 sewer vehicles. 10, approve the amended schedule for fees issued under Town Code 105. 11, authorize Vassar College Tennis Court Stormwater Agreement. 12, authorize HGP Storage Depot Stormwater Agreements. 13, Casper Kill South Road Development Crown Heights Center Overlay District. 14, notification of claim for illegal Stark versus the town, Emberger versus the town. And with that, I'd like to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda. Second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody to speak on any item on the agenda? Go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you? Thank you. My name is Rebecca Edwards, and I live in Ward 6, and thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. The architect's presentation in November on the proposed Boardman Road project made clear to the public the truly terrible condition of our town police station on Tucker Drive. We've known for 27 years that was an inappropriate site, and we know why it was chosen. And it's clear the police are long overdue to move to a new headquarters. The architect's presentation also made clear that a committee of the town board has spent 2 years trying to shoehorn a new police station into an unsuitable location, which has school classrooms, a historic mansion, and a theater. But central to the choice of that site seems to have been a plan to move the entire town hall at very high cost and to borrow $54.82 million. I'm here to urge the board in the strongest terms to start over. Please keep the town hall where it is. Please move the police and courts building to a new site and one that meets 4 criteria. First, that it is visible and accessible to residents and contributes to our sense of public safety. Second, that it follows the town master plan by being located where retail and restaurants are nearby, ideally in a walkable area to infill and to support our local businesses. Third, very importantly, that it is affordable for taxpayers and makes the best use of every dollar. And there are creative ways to do this. New Paltz just repurposed an empty building and created swing space so that the courtroom in its police and courts building, which is only used for a few days a week, can be used at other times for community meetings and events. And last, it's very important that the new site support police morale and recruitment and strengthen police relations with the community at what has been a difficult time over the last few years. The architects stated that their proposal would benefit the police by building a door on the back of the building so the police would not have to interact with the public. To me, that's an insult to our police officers who chose a career of service specifically to engage with the public and often in very difficult circumstances after car accidents and experiencing all kinds of difficulties. So I urge that the board find as soon as possible an effective, affordable site that serves our police as they serve our community. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
There's a R Swan. Can't see. You have your hand
Hi,
up?
that's me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, well, good evening. Thank you for addressing this through public comments today. My name is Rob Sanderson. I live in Ward 2. And I would like to echo the previous comments, but in just a slightly different way. I came into this this project, and I became aware of this project just recently, within the last 2-3 months. But there are 3 questions that are foremost in my mind and are shared by many of my neighbors here. The first question is, what's the least cost alternative to the most pressing need? And within the last couple of months, my understanding is the most pressing need is the police and the court. So to answer that question, what is the least cost alternative to that need? I think we have to broaden our thinking beyond a town center at the Boardman Road facility. And secondly, as the previous speaker also mentioned, my next question is, what is the most appropriate location? And lastly, the very first question that comes up in my mind and in the minds of the folks that I've talked to in my neighborhood here is, when do I vote? So as I understand it right now, this is not going to be a referendum, but I would like you to consider the fact that a referendum is something at top of mind when it comes to a $73 million project. Now I'd like to just make a few comments about these questions. The first comment has to do with what's the most appropriate location and what are the least cost alternatives. And I think we should broaden the scope of our thinking here to consider that both the police and the court do not necessarily need to be in the same location. In fact, my avocation is in forensics, so I'm very often in courtrooms around the country, and I can tell you that very few of the courtrooms that I've been in are located at the same exact place as the police headquarters. Most often they are in repurposed buildings or in dedicated buildings of their own. And I think if we think about a police department and a court facility being in 2 separate locations, it really adds a whole lot of alternatives within our town in terms of space and parking and square footage. So I think that helps us to find alternatives to present to the town residents and with respect to cost as well. So lots of alternatives. The most appropriate location to me would not be in an R20 zone, a residential zone. It would be in a high traffic, very visible, easily accessible location in town centers. So I agree with the previous speaker on that. Lastly, I'd like to say that, in looking around, just driving around for the last couple of months, if we are to consider separate locations or other locations in more appropriate places, there are several. One is Dutchess Golf and Country Club, which I understand is available. The former IBM training facility on Route 9, close to the entrance of IBM. On Spackenkill Road, the Faith Assembly building, I think would be less impactful to the neighborhood. It's not ideal, but it's another location that's available. And lastly, the International Buffet on the South Road and the two adjoining properties to the south of it, I think would be appropriate for either a court or a police facility. So that's just a little sampling of what I've seen out there, and I'm sure there's a lot more.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
Yes, I'd like to speak.
And who's that?
Michelle.
Hi, this is Michelle.
Okay, Michelle.
And everybody, first of all, thank you for adding some telecom code. I mean, I was shocked and very pleased when I did tune in to look at our code. I see that there have been some really great, great paragraphs in there, and I'm just so thankful that Mike Welty noticed it, that we really had no existing code, and then worked hard with Lisa and the rest of the committee and working group to put together some paragraphs that really make sense. What I still kind of see is missing is a paragraph that would justify need.
Michelle, is this about an agenda item?
Well, yeah, and I'm getting to that. We're also, the Poughkeepsie Day School, I know it was tabled, but, there have been plans for several antenna and also additional antenna on the Catskill South Road Development, Crown Heights area. I'm sure there's going to be some utility planning for that. So, yeah, it would be really great if we could look at that Wilson Pro spectrum analyzer to see really what's missing and where our gaps are in service. The other thing I want to talk to is, I think tonight there are some mention of permits, and a whole list of that. Is now a good time for that, or you want me to wait till later?
What permits are you talking?
Yeah, there's a whole list of permitting fees, construction permits, and fees are.
No,
Those are not being
Michelle,
amended.
that's just the town fees, the fee schedule, has nothing.
Yeah.
And the permitting
Yeah,
fees are not being amended at this
Will
time.
get a chance to speak to that, or no?
You can, but there's no permit, there's nothing that's being amended in regard to permits. Recreation is being
Right.
amended, and there was a missing memo
Okay.
bill in the tax department.
Right. So I just wanted to make mention of, the electrical permits, that whether smart meter installations are going to be part of those permits, and who actually holds the insurance for those installations and the liability for those installations, because as it overlaps with the fire advisory committee reports, that these things have no surge protection on them, nothing adequate that would handle a grid, a major grid line surge, which would then cause them to burst into flame. So, I just wanted to make a comment about that.
Thanks, Michelle.
And that's it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Thank you.
Motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 2, Mr. Renahan?
Sure. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Richard Bellevue to the position of full-time police officer under provision of civil service law dealing with resignation reinstatement at the starting yearly salary of $65,760.72, effective January 23rd, 2023, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second, motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations. Isn't it three? Shane O'Connell.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution,
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
Town of Poughkeepsie Police
the
Officer
Town of Poughkeepsie Police Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Mr. Carlos.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Shane O'Connell to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of civil service law at the starting yearly salary of $58,429, effective January 23rd, 2023, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Shane O'Connell, do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
police officer for the town of Poughkeepsie
police officer for the Town of Poughkeepsie
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Brian Bennett to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of civil service law at the starting yearly salary of $58,429.60, effective January 23rd, 2023, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
I, Brian Bennett, do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
duties of
police officer for the town of Poughkeepsie,
police officer for the town of
according to
Poughkeepsie,
the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise for bids for Tucker Forceman replacement pursuant to specifications prepared by the engineering department, which will be available on January 23rd, 2023 at the office of the town clerk, with an optional site visit to be held at 1 a.m. Is that accurate time?
Should be 11.
11 a.m. yeah. 1 doesn't sound right. 11 a.m. on
Oh, wait a
February
minute. An optional site visit might be 1 a.m. Oh, p.m.
p.m.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
1
Okay.
p.m. Sorry, I thought you meant the bid itself.
No. All right. With an optional site visit to be held at 1 p.m. on February 7th, 2023, and a bid opening on February 27th at 1 p.m.
11 a.m.
No, it's 11.
It's 11 a.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Arca Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And be it further resolved that the right to accept or reject all bids in whole or part is hereby reserved, and be it further resolved that contracting for these services is in part of the ongoing administration and management of the Town of Poughkeepsie and the wastewater treatment plant. It is a type 2 action under seeker requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion second, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby rescind resolution 15, number 3 of 2023 due to minor errors on the then adopted non-union salary schedule. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve and adopt the attached corrected non-union salary schedule for the year 2023. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion second, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby rescind resolution 97, number 8 of 2022, copy attached as a new amended number 1 to the Hudson 7, May 31st, 2018 memorandum agreement has been received, and be further resolved, the supervisor is authorized to execute in substantially the form annexed the amendment 1 on behalf of the town, with execution shall be effective on the execution of the amendment by the 6 other current members of Hudson 7 and the counties of Dutchess and Ulster. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Eight A, these are liquor license notification. 8A is Regal Cinemas. 8B is Village Pancake House. 8C is 1126 Dutchess Turnpike. Resolution number 9. Be it resolved, the town board of town of Poughkeepsie does hereby declare 2 sewer department vehicles to be surplus. Does hereby approve the sale of said vehicles to an online auction website known as Auctions International as follows. 1999 International Vector 2100, VIN number IHT GCAD T4XH 669970, mileage $78,728. And number 2, 2001 International 4900 Hydrojetter, VIN number 1 HTSDAD R62H 505382, mileage $49,641. Be it further resolved, the town board has authorized the sale of said vehicles, and be it further resolved that this is a type 2 action in the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and requires no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Any motion second, any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Just so you know, the Vector truck is the one that we received a grant for a couple years ago, and so it's been replaced. They got it up and running again, and now they're gonna put up for auction.
Be resolved that the town board of town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adopt the annex schedule of fees issued under chapter 105, and be it further resolved, these fees will be effective until revised by the town board. So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Item number 11. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement and agreement and any supporting recording documents in regard to the Vassar College Tennis Court project in substantially the form attached. And be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to approval of all final documents by the attorney to the town, the planning board attorney, town engineer, and the director of municipal development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance easement regarding the project known as HGP Storage Depot. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign a stormwater maintenance facility inspection and maintenance agreement and any supporting recording documents in regard to the HGP Storage Depot project in substantially the form attached. And be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the town attorney, planning board attorney, town engineer, and the director of municipal development for the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Whereas the town board has received a request on November 30th, 2022 from Abella Associates on behalf of Ginsberg Development Companies seeking a Crown Heights Center overlay designation from the town board for proposed mixed-use redevelopment project at 2264-2270 South Road in the town of Poughkeepsie. And whereas representatives from Labella and Ginsberg Development presented the proposed Castro South Road Development Project to the town board at the Committee of the Whole on December 14th, 2022. And whereas the proposed Castro South Road Development Project would encompass tax parcels 134-689-6159-01-247973 and 134-689-6159-01-243942, totaling 9.21 acres owned by the Town Center Poughkeepsie LLC, and a 1.79 acre portion of parcel 134-689-6159-02-503995, owned by Casper Kill -1 LLC for a total development area of 11 acres. And whereas these lands fall within the Crown Heights Center Overlay District on the zoning map and are therefore eligible for consideration under Chapter 210-24 of the Town Code. And whereas pursuant to 210-24 D1 of the Town Code, neither the Planning Board nor the Zoning Board of Appeals, nor any other administrative agency, board, body, or officer of the Town of Poughkeepsie may receive, process, or determine applications for a subdivision approval, a site plan approval, a special permit approval, use variances, area variances, aquatic resource permits, or any other land use approvals for the property in the CHCO district without the prior determination by the Town Board under this section that the subject matter of the proposed application or applications is in technical compliance with the stated CHCO district purposes, stated permitted principal and accessory uses within the CHCO district, and the density requirements of the CHCO district. As such, purposes, uses, and density are set forth in subsections A, C, and E of this section, emphasis added, and whereas staff reviewed the information and submitted and requested that the applicant make some minor refinements to the project description to demonstrate technical compliance with 210-24A, C, and E, and whereas a revised letter, petition, and concept plan responding to the staff comments was submitted on January 12, 2023, and these materials are attached here too. Whereas under section 210-24 D1 of the Town Code, the determination by the Town Board described in this section is a type 2 action pursuant to 6 New York CRR 617.5, section 28, to wit, engaging in a review of any part of the application to determine compliance with technical requirements, provided that no such determination entitles or permits a project sponsor to commence an action unless and until all requirements in part 617 have been fulfilled. And accordingly, such Town Board approval is not subject to review under Part 617. Now therefore be it resolved that 1, the Town Board hereby determines that the Casper Kill South Road Development Project, as described within the submitted documents attached, is in technical compliance with the stated CHCO district purposes, stated permitted principal and accessory uses within the CHCO district, and density requirements of the CHCO district. As such purposes, uses, and density are set forth in subsections A, C, and E of 210-24, and 2, upon this determination by the town board, the planning board shall have the authority to receive and process an application for site plan, subdivision, special permit, and any other related approvals for this CHCO district development. Similarly, any other agencies, boards, bodies, or officers may receive any applications related to other aspects of this CHCO district development in compliance with the law. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Item number 14 is a couple notices of claims. Stark versus Town of Poughkeepsie, Amberger versus Town of Poughkeepsie, just refer to legal.
That brings us to the end of the town board agenda, and from here we go on to the committee, the whole agenda. We have a presentation by Steve Tinkelman, built parcel 559 Springside Avenue.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. Is that better?
Yes.
My name is Stephen Tinkelman, Tinkelman Architecture, and John Leister, project architect from the firm, is on my left here. Thank you for hearing this presentation tonight. Again, we're here on our Van Wagner Place project. We're right now, just to bring you up to speed, if you don't know, we're under construction for our 44 Springside Avenue project that is fenced in, and we'll be hitting the ground in about 2 weeks with our core drilling and such. And across the street, we're in front of the planning board for a project that is called the Westerly, which is 20 units, and it sits nicely tucked into a wooded area, but is connected to the landscape of our whole neighborhood. I guess the way to start this presentation is that what we're building currently is all ATC zoned, and the zone changes occurred at different actions from this board over the years as we got started with the project. What we're hoping to do is build another 2 projects that we're trying to tee up with this presentation tonight, which would take 2 more development projects. One that there's really not much going on. It's an existing structure that we plan to maintain as a single-family home. Other than that, it'll be fixed up. Thank you. And then there's a second site, which is where the cursor is, which we're calling 59GF for the lack of a good name yet. But it's 3 sites that include 2 buildings and an existing parking lot that we constructed about 5 years ago that are part of 33 Arlington Avenue, which is a multi-use structure, multiple tenants in there, and our office is located on the 2nd floor of that building. So that the Westerly project, as mentioned, is on that particular site. And then going forward, these are the 2 sites again that we're here to discuss with you tonight. You can see that the blue sites are all ATC, so that was my earlier point. And these other 2 sites, or these other 2 sites that we have here, are currently zoned R20. And the plan would be to turn them into Arlington Town Center as well, for very site-specific reasons. Now, we haven't designed this project, so we're going to show you some volumetrics and a site plan, but the buildings themselves have not been designed. I think you know our work, and we're trying to do some high-quality stuff in the Van Wagner neighborhood, but we really want to get a sense of your blessing in the direction that we were heading. Again, these photographs show a couple of different directions. The top left is 59 Springside Avenue. We purchased this in a tax sale a number of years ago. It has great presence. It's at a four-way stop sign, which is really in the heart of our neighborhood. It has great exposure facing south as you come off of 4455 or come from Raymond Avenue. It is the first thing that you see. So having that treated architecturally, and ideally if we could, we haven't signed a tenant there yet, but we're talking to a food user for that spot. The building on the right on the top is 8 Sites Terrace, which is a single-family residence. It needs some work, and the plan is to turn that into a little higher quality single-family home. The picture on the bottom left shows the buildings beyond our site. There's some multifamily housing units next to us and across the street. There's also some mini storage facilities. So the more single-family section of Sites Terrace is still further north than the next couple of lots and properties to the north of us. And then I think the last shot on the bottom right is looking down from our property towards the south. So here's the concept that we're looking at. The parking lot to the right is built to where, can you use the, yeah, thanks, John. That's where the lot is currently. What's really remarkable, and I think the supervisor mentioned it the first time he looked at it, was that the site seems very dense. And when you get there, there's quite a bit of elevation change and there's quite a bit of landscaping. And that in the plan that we have here, the idea is to maintain that. What we want to do is put an addition of 2,000 to 3,000 square feet in total on the commercial building down below. As I mentioned, fix up 8 sites and then build 8 more apartments on the top of the site. The uses that we're proposing are all in this site plan require no variances whatsoever once the site becomes ATC. So that was careful. Matter of fact, the site also has 10 more parking spaces than we need. There's a lot of room for screening to our neighbors on all sides of us. There's green space for us to have some public amenities on the site as we design it. And this is a continuation again of what we've been doing on Van Wagner, in the Van Wagner Place, where we're trying to create pedestrian connectivity as well as vehicular connectivity, so that if somebody lives in one of the buildings, to the west, they can walk here if there's food and take advantage of, the facilities that we have. Remember, with the pork chop project, which is 44 Springside Avenue, that building, has an indoor swimming pool. That's part of one of our businesses. It's also going to be an amenity that's going to be used by all of our tenants. When we get done here, we'll have with the phases that we've already identified, we'll have 86 apartment units and about 50,000 square feet of commercial space here. These images here, and please forgive the yellow structures, are not designed, but we're just showing placeholders for what the structures are that we showed you. Our design work is trying to be a little cutting edge and a little traditional, nice balance. So the building on the left that has the red box on it has the 8 units in it. The building in the center is currently what the 8 sites looks like. And then this would be the addition on that 59 Springside. Again, the designs are not, this is just form giving for the time being. Again, the idea is to create a sense of place here, which we've tried to do. The idea of the interconnectivity there is with the 44 Springside site that we're doing. There's an outdoor plaza that we're creating for the use of all tenants, and that should be one of the hubs, of the neighborhood. This is kind of a nice way to complete what we've gotten started here. So the request in front of you tonight is to be able to move forward with this rezoning of these couple of parcels from R20 to ATC.
And Steve, what exactly, so the board knows, which parcels are you referring to changing? Since you have like 6 of them circled on.
So, yeah, it would be 43 Springside Ave. Yeah. So it would be 43 Springside Ave, 59 Springside Avenue, 8 Sites Terrace, and then the lot that is a part of the parking for 33 Arlington Avenue.
So that, to your question there, Supervisor, there's those 3 parcels in that area that will be combining into one, you know, with this development. The single-family home that's in front of the Westerly project, we currently, which is allowed by town law, we're able to put the driveway access to that apartment, you know, structure that is in front of the planning board through that lot. One of the reasons for wanting to rezone that, even though we're not really planning to make changes to the building at this time, is to create more interconnectivity from a pedestrian point of view. So it's being able to plan sidewalks and have some of the parking and sharing some of the services in terms of trash and green space and all that. So it's really just trying to mesh things together so that it's more cohesive and organized.
Board members got any comments?
It certainly looks like it would fit nicely in there. Any residents here from that area?
Yeah.
Would you like to go up and speak? No?
My only concern would be, can you show the picture with the trees? Not that one. Like the last picture, I think it was.
The site plan?
That one, yeah. So, some of those look big, those rounds. Are those new trees? Because like the bushes you have by the parking lot now are
Right.
real little. They're like little baby bushes.
As we move forward with the planning process,
Mhm.
as we do, we've done with the Westerly project that's in front of planning board now, we've engaged all of our neighbors. It's just a good way of working, and we've gotten good ideas. We have, there are 3 single-family homes in front of the Westerly project, and all 3 of the gentlemen that own those houses and their families are supporting us, and we've been working with them. So we would do the same thing here. The landscaping makes a big difference to the success of these projects.
And I noticed, and then you call it Gannon. Are you planning on buying that other piece of property that's vacant? Do you have any plans to do anything there?
No, I think we've bought enough in that direction.
I'd agree. And then my other concern would be, and I noticed it really a lot lately because I take Marple home when I go to the bank every day when I go for work and I come home that way, is the Sites Marple intersection is just, you know, it's just a nightmare as far as, I don't know if they're considering a 4-way stop or what, but it's really difficult to get out of there. So I don't know if you've had a lot of accidents there or what the story is. You haven't?
Well, I
Really?
will say that it's been brought up from some residents.
Yeah,
On
I mean, I
Marple and
noticed it
Sites.
myself because I've had phone calls, and so I paid attention to it, and I don't know why that is, but it's really hard to see.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a hill there, so when you're at Sites to go, say, across
Yes.
to Crestwood, or it's just,
And then you have to take into consideration the light at the end on Van Wagner and the timing of
Yeah,
that, if there was
yeah.
a I mean,
it's messy.
yes, everything's messy,
I know.
it seems.
It just,
But
that's-
yes, it is a consideration, and some residents
that
have.
wouldn't be my street, but just notice it, that's
The
all.
4-way stop sign that we installed and changed there has really made a tremendous difference in quieting that whole intersection. It was really a
4
good.
ways to work and make it quiet.
Yeah.
They really do. I lived here once, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the 4-way you're talking about is at Sites and Springside.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you're talking more.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
talking about the
where-
other end.
We're right where you hit Ray
A good
Boulevard.
deal is that the traffic that goes to the malls there, and it's really, you know, I mean, it's.
It's the cut
busy.
through to the college, it's
Yeah.
people that travel Sites to
Yeah.
go that way to go home. I don't know where they're all coming from, but it's just,
Yeah.
I've noticed that it's, you know, a mess.
But anyway, our commitment again is always, you know, I mean, you'll see full connectivity pedestrian-wise, good full landscaping plan. We've done that with all of our projects, and You know, again, I think, you know, the success of the neighborhood, as you see in other projects, is really having more density and more people, more activities and such. And we have a couple things up our sleeve for some other public amenities that we're looking at on the Westerly project now, so.
Yeah, and that would be my only comment around public amenities. You know, it's great to live in this little, you know, bubble where you can have the pool at your disposal and things like that, but I would really love to see some more commercial or restaurant space, you know, things that people would want to walk to.
Yeah.
You know, why are they going to want to go there if there's nothing there for them to buy and eat and spend their money on?
Yeah,
So-
we're blessed right now to be 100% full, but I would still like to see things like food or something like that there. It really would make a big difference. So that's what our active pursuit is right now.
Especially if it's good food.
Yeah, right.
Thank
The other part of the request here tonight is for a pilot. You know, the mixed use, we've benefited from the pilots. You know, the financing for the 44 Springside project was maybe one of the more complicated things I've ever done in this environment. So the pilots are probably more important for the continuing of good development projects than they ever have been. It doesn't have to be as long of a pilot. It's one that just would help get these projects going because of the cost of construction, the cost of money. And so it's a request. And you know, appreciate the consideration on that. But I would say that without the pilot, that the project that we're now have under construction wouldn't have been underwritten. So it's meaningful.
And Steve, I will tell you, the Gannon Street, the one you have right there in front of you now, as I discussed with you, I said, you know, the county's coming out with a new program for affordable housing that if you're looking for any money for affordable housing, that's a very small project that should be through the county working in affordable housing and not through a pilot in the town, because right now we're building quite a few apartments and I don't feel the need for any more pilots at this time. Pilots are meant to generate, you know, and I don't think that's going to generate enough of anything to even qualify for a pilot. But talking to the county who came out with money for supposedly affordable housing, being have those 8 units there, I think that's the avenue, which I know you did reach out to them. I don't know what your verdict was, but that's where they should be going, not to the town.
Well, the pilot, I think part of the pilot is in order to support some of the commercial underwriting here, which is more, you know, and again, you know, the argument on the pilots is that all of our competition around here has benefited from the pilots from the town here, which is the new project on Raymond Avenue, Eastdale and all that. So it's really trying to just have a level playing field. You know, there's some other ways we can attack it. The affordable housing piece, we've talked to the county about that. And, you know, we missed the first round in terms of, you know, what they have open there, but we're still looking at it. The governor has a program coming out in the next 2 weeks, which there may be some benefits for that as well. So we're going to hopefully see something decent. You know, who knows, but you know, but we've got our eyes on it. Our units also are not in the same price range as some of our other competition, and we've done that purposefully, and I think that's a meaningful statement from our.
But there's still market rate. It's just you're setting the market a little lower. That's all.
That's correct.
A true development. I guess I don't think this really fits the criteria for a community block grant or a pilot. I mean, for a pilot, I don't think it fits the criteria that we've designed for other people. I mean, for some of your neighboring developers that they've mentioned before, those developers took over a building that was empty for years and renovated it. So I mean, that's why they got a pilot. I mean, they added something to it. I mean, this is, if you build something here, people are going to flock here because they're there and because they can walk across the street and go to some of those stores that are going to be opening. And because it's in the Arlington district, you're not going to have a hard time filling any of these apartments.
Does Eastdale have a pilot?
Yes. So let's not forget that. Eastdale has a pilot.
Yeah, the other part of it is that we do have a couple of buildings that we are repurposing here, and that one at the intersection in particular. But part of the request is I know that this is really an insignificant size project, for you to consider in terms of the pilot part of it. I'm hoping the zoning is not complicated, but on the pilot aspect of it is that you've supported me right from the beginning. We took there's 13 buildings that we've acquired and repurposed and put back in on the tax rolls, and it was all because of your support right from day one, and it made a huge difference. And the tax jump that you're now benefiting from us only happened because we could do this project because of the pilot. And so this is really a continuation. So I would ask you to consider it in that regard.
And there's, how much, was it 50,000 square feet commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, that was all space that was empty when we took over the property. And so our commitment is long-term and trying to be thoughtful.
And that, your overall project there is really nice. It's creative, it's interesting, it's got everything you want somebody to build in your town. So I appreciate all the effort that you've done there, and I think this will be a nice addition. And I get the comparison to the other projects, and so I'm not crazy about pilots for residential. The commercial definitely makes sense, but you go up there and it's a whole different place. It's so nice, and I'd love you to build stuff down in my end of town. It's just the stuff. There's a lot of stuff gets built, and you look at it like, every time I go up there, every new thing that you put in there, I'm impressed by. So I appreciate it. And the creativity, the thought, even the fact that you had the buildings that are just the yellow shade, because you're working on something that I believe that it's going to be significantly better than what you already have, because that creativity comes through in the project. So I'm glad you're here in the town doing the project, and I hope it is a success. So I keep an open mind.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody? Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
On to committee reports. Finance,
Nothing to report.
technology.
Yes, on our website, we've had, over the last month, 8,583 users. And their top 4-5 pages were first the main page, paying bills, jobs, receiver taxes, and the agenda center. Then on our email distributions list, we picked up 89 new subscribers, and that gives us a total of 6,722 subscribers. And other tech things that have been worked on is the town phone system is up and running, yay. And now they're working on getting the police department new phone system up and running. And then the next thing on the agenda is to work on email migration to the cloud, which is starting with running a few test emails and see how it goes. And then we're going to be looking into email and social media archiving. So that's it.
Recreation.
Yes, and recreation, got a few things. First of all, tomorrow there's going to be a lunch and learn, but Jay Baisley and Mike Simon there, right, is going to be there from 12 o'clock. Basically introduce the new highway superintendent, as well as go over any issues with the town. Spankill High School is going to have an orchestra that's going to perform at the Senior Center on Thursday, February 23rd at 11 a.m. There's a St. Patrick's Day trip. Now, it's opened up really for all adults. So far, the enrollment is low. So that's on March 14th. It departs 8 a.m. It's $65 for residents, $92 for non-residents. Summer camp registration is going to be opening up this week. Ages 5 to 15. That's what it's designed for. And rolling into that, they're also hiring for these camps. They're looking for some summer camp counselors, summer camp nurse or an EMT, and also some seasonal groundskeepers. Also, they have the CIT for the 15-year-old and the junior CITs for the 14-year-old program that they're going to be utilizing again this year, if anyone's interested. So everything's on the website, on the recreation website, so just take a look. So.
Fire advisory, Mr. Arno.
No report.
Infrastructure, Mr. Collins.
No report.
Personnel, Mr. Salone.
Nothing to report.
Building consolidation? Well, I'll do that. You know, we had a presentation back in December. There was a lot of questions brought up by the residents. We've gone back, we're listening to all the residents, we're taking all the concerns. But still our number one concern is to get our police department out of where they are and look at locations. Many residents have called me and given me locations to look at, some of which we've already looked at. Some of them, you know, just because the price looks low does not mean that it's the prime location where it should be, because you don't want to take up a prime location that could become something somewhere else and cause a headache. Like people have referred Sears malls, we know the mall is struggling. To put a police station and a court in the middle of a mall is not the proper place to put it, because of the fact that if somebody comes in and the mall is to change, it could put a big stumbling block on where the mall is going. So we are looking at everything. Everybody has reached out to us, so we're still doing our due diligence. We will have another presentation in the next few weeks going forward, so we will post it on the website, and we also will post it through Gov Delivery. As Ann said, people keep adding on every month, you know, so that is a place. If you haven't signed up for Gov Delivery, sign up for it, and you will be notified. That way, if you miss it on the agenda, you don't see it, it will be there. So as I said, our police department is still our priority of where to be. It's a location that they should have moved out 20 years ago in this board, as the building's gotten the worst shape as it's going on. We've put a lot of money into this building to sustain what we have there now. We do know the priority, and this board has made the step to make that step forward. So they are still our top priority. So if people think we're not addressing the police issue, we are. We worked with this police chief numerous times on this. We've worked with different court, you know, architects to get the courts out of there also. We worked with the court system. Our architect ourselves has worked with them, so we are doing our due diligence. We are not going to rush into something that we're going to make a mistake and end up like we have before, which nobody on this board and probably nobody in this room was responsible for any of that. So we do want to get, you know, the police department out of where they can as soon as possible. We want to make sure we make the right choice. So as soon as we get that information all together, we'll be back to notify everybody of where we're going forward. With that, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for any town item at all and ask people to please limit it to 3 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who'd like to speak on any item at all?
Motion to resume the rules.
Hello? Hello?
Nice try,
Mike,
Steph.
is there going to be a planning board meeting tomorrow night?
I can't hear you. What was that?
Is there a planning board tomorrow
Is
night?
there going to be a planning board meeting this evening, tomorrow evening?
Yes, there is, and all the information is on the website, and the agenda is on the website.
That'd be another hit for you.
All right, because when I looked at the calendar yesterday, there was no planning board meeting on the calendar. You know, you had to kind of go deeper in and, you know, put in dates, and it wasn't, you know, like on the calendar,
All right,
huge.
all
Okay.
right, Michelle. Okay, well,
Oh, and one more thing. Did anybody consider the Diamond Mine as a location for our police?
That's like
No.
an eighth of an
You know that area?
No.
That seems to be, there seems to be a lot of land there. I don't know, I'm just suggesting it as an option.
Okay, thank you.
We need to take care of them. And putting them next to the Diamond Mine would make a whole lot of sense. There's a lot of valuable stuff there. I don't know, easy on, easy off.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Anybody
Okay,
else?
Everybody, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anybody else want to speak?
If not, motion.
Motion.
Oh,
Right here.
come on up, sir.
You have to come to the mic, please.
Yes, so we can just hear you.
Hi, my name is Abbas Salawadi, and I live on Hawthorne Lane in Poughkeepsie. I lived here for 22 years, and I've seen every year my taxes going up. Well, I haven't seen any facility for the public, like tennis court, swimming pool, or anything being added to the town since I moved here. I mean, I'm not sure why the taxes are going up and where's the money spending that we need to increase taxes every year without, even the tennis courts we have here, they don't have lights, they don't have enough, you know, proper fencing or anything like that.
We have put a lot of money into our courts, our ball fields, And one of the items that was in this original package that we have discussed for the day school was more recreation. If you want to call me and discuss it, I don't want to go into length about what was offered there, but I will go over every item you want to talk about. You can either come in, have a meeting, we can go over all you want. You want to go over the tennis courts you had issues with, because I know last year alone, we resurfaced 3 or 4 courts. We fixed the fences in some courts. There was a court across from, right behind Olive Garden there where it hadn't been touched in years. We remodeled that court. We did the one on Alder Drive. We've worked on the courts on Greenvale. We've done a lot of them. So if you want to come in and have a specific court or issue, lights in a lot of the courts, lights are extremely expensive. We don't have a lot, we have only one lit ball field in the town. We don't have any lit tennis courts. But we have added them if there's other
The
issues.
one on Red Oak Mill
That-
Park.
Adding
doesn't
lights,
have-
adding lights also creates issues for the neighbors sometimes, because when people are recreating at night, it's noisy.
Right, but that
Right.
court there is all a baseball field and other
No,
fields
I'm just
around
saying,
it.
some of the parks, because we have pocket parks and they're in the neighborhoods, when you add lights, people get upset because it creates noise at night. There's also the parking lot at Greenville was expanded. There's a pickleball court that was added on Millbank in Hagen. In Crown Heights, there's a new baseball field was put in probably about 5 to 10 years ago that Tilcon contributed to it, and Cal Ripken got involved and the town helped. So there's a whole bunch of things around town. Honestly, I've seen a lot of improvements in our parks over time. It's not easy to do everything at once, but I think the playground equipment probably about 10 years ago was replaced in a lot of
We
the
did the field at
playgrounds.
Fairview, at Crestwood last year, and Fairview's gonna be done this year.
And Red Oaks Mill Tennis Court was worked on last year. They did the Red Oaks Mill, and there was also.
They did paint it, yes,
Yep,
correct.
and there was also, they did a little bit of paving on that one, not a lot, and they also had a Eagle Scout project was done on there too, and they put some extra benches and things in there. Not all big fixes, but we have made them. If you come in, you have certain items or certain parks you want to address, I can make sure the rec director knows and see if they're in her plan for this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Regina?
Thank you for recognizing me. I'm Regina Klein. I live in the Hagentown area and have been enjoying the Millbank pickleball courts very much. However, I would like to bring it to the attention of the board that those courts only opened in September, and they are already disintegrating very seriously. They're going to need to be resurfaced again. And I hope this time the proper investment will be made so that it will be more permanent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I see a hand raised in the audience. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Janet Gray, I live on Park Avenue. I have two just picky procedural questions. The first is related to the tabling of the PDS resolution. I'm not objecting to the fact that you may have decided you want to table and move it forward, but I do think it's really important. This is an agenda item. It should be voted on by the board, and there should be a public record of the vote of the board to table or not to table. I think this was not done appropriately, and I would really appreciate your considering that. And my second question is, in very, very tiny print at the very end of the agenda, is acknowledged that all committee meetings are subject to the open meeting laws. Do you publish when committee meetings will be held, and is the public advised and allowed to attend?
Are they still on the website, Tim? We're on the website.
Recreation is.
Yeah.
Recreation's in a separate zone.
Okay, how about
They're on the
building
calendar.
consolidation or infrastructure, the other committees?
They were, I will double check to see if they're still on there. They were on the site. We changed the site. I don't know if they're still on there, but they were on the site.
Okay, so the public is invited to
Yep.
attend?
Yep.
Great, thank you so much.
Anybody else?
If not, motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Renninger.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following matters subject to attorney-client privilege, and be it further resolved that no action appropriating money will be taken. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Town board goes into executive session at 8:05 PM.